Alrighty then. Doesn't look like anything's terrible out there rotating. Well, Jefferson County's out of that hail core now.
It's a good picture on the camera.
Okay. All right, everybody. So we are here with you, and let me see. I can't do that right now. So you're not going to see me at the moment, but you will in a few minutes, perhaps. I want to get you. That's a live picture. And that's O'Fallon, Illinois, looking back to the west-southwest towards Menards. Some gnarly-looking clouds there, and there's a pretty good rain shaft behind that. Maybe even potentially some hail in there. Here's why. You're looking at the radar pictures. Off to the east of St. Louis and to the south of St. Louis, big thunderstorms continuing to blossom. These look like they're producing hail, and in particular, right now the strongest core is this cell that's down into Monroe County. National Weather Service just took Jefferson County out of that warning, but you have that severe thunderstorm warning for large hail. You just saw it there, right around Monroe City. This is in Monroe County. That's heading towards Wartburg and Waterloo. These storms are flying, and when I say flying, they are moving incredibly fast. So this thing's going to be in Waterloo in the next 5 minutes or so. Spotter down in Festus reported a wind gust estimated to 60 miles per hour. Hematite had some quarter-size hail with this particular cell that you're seeing right now as it continues to work toward the Waterloo area. So this is down in Monroe County. That's where, at the moment, the strongest hail core is. This is right along KK Road and Maystown Road, moving northeast. So this is going to be up into the area, just kind of looking where this is going. It is going to go right up Maystown Road into Lakeview Drive and then right in to Waterloo. Now, if it keeps on moving to the northeast, it will move out of Monroe County and into St. Clair County. This is the strongest cell that we see on the radar screen right now. On its current track, it will be racing northeastbound, not only Waterloo, but potentially even into Belleville and over into Smithton in the path of this. That would be like another round compared to the storm you're already getting at the moment. So multiple storms are out there this evening for sure. The other one that we're looking at here, that's already crossing from Columbia into southwestern portions of St. Clair County, pushing in towards Belleville right now. And that one's really going to produce some hail too. And it stretches up towards Fairview Heights. So again, I'm going to pause it just for a second. We're going to go down here and take another look over at what's going on with our cameras there over in the area around O'Fallon. Millstadt just had some nickel-sized hail. That's not severe, but doggone if it's not close. Let's take a look at Belleville. We can pull Belleville up here, and we'll see what is happening there. Well, it's pouring in Belleville, too. Listen, outside of these thunderstorms, we've had winds gusting 60 to 65 miles per hour. That's outside of the thunderstorms. It's kind of impressive that we have that. So pouring in Belleville right now. Look at these clouds here as you're looking from Worldwide Technology Raceway back towards St. Louis, and kind of on the left side of your screen there, that's where we really are picking up those stronger storms right now, and potentially some hail, potentially some gusty winds. There's a look down in Arnold at this moment as we check down there, and we can see what's going on in those areas right now. So here's a look across the region, and we're going to pop this through, just kind of go through the radar here. Severe thunderstorm warning now includes Bond County in Illinois, southeastern portions of Madison County. We have northeastern and central portions of St. Clair County. I think we're going to add another chunk of St. Clair County to this. Around Festus, going to the northeast, we have that storm that's moved out of Jefferson County into Monroe County. So those are your severe thunderstorms. These are also moving into an area where we potentially have, a situation where there's rotation, and these storms may take on, more of a supercell tornado look to them as time goes on. That's really not overly apparent at this point, but the environment does seem to be favorable for that to happen. And that's why that tornado watch continues with the greatest threat along and east of the Mississippi River here for the next hour or two. And then we think we're going to start to see that cold front make some pretty good inroads here and swing on through the area. There are still some scattered showers and thunderstorms. That cell that's up in northern portions of Macoupin County and heading up towards 55 in the panhandle of I call it the panhandle of Montgomery County up there in Illinois. We have a lot of folks up there that watch us. So, that is an area that we're going to continue to watch. And Jeffrey, I don't know, are you able to hear me at this point? Because we may want to bump in and just at the tail end of this commercial, just to give people a quick little update on air with this storm that's off to the northeast of St. Louis and off to the east of town. I don't know if you're able to hear me. But anywho, as you're watching these thunderstorms move, they're racing northeast at about 60 to 65 miles per hour. The storms do have some rotation with them. Large hail seems to be the biggest threat at this point. But then keep in mind, outside and away from those thunderstorms, you're pretty much looking at this point at winds gusting anywhere from 50 to 60, 65 miles per hour. And I think our actual cold front is getting closer to St. Louis right now. And yeah, you can kind of see I think this is the actual front right now. So
Where the storms are going through finally.
yeah, the final batch of the storms. So it certainly seems logical.
Still pretty good. Yeah, I was trying to look for the cooler air behind it. I'll tell you what, you can really see that dust that's coming
On
up.
the satellite?
It's going to be, your car's going to be dirty in the morning. Stand by. Man, it is really coming.
All right, we'll get you back to Wheel of Fortune in just a minute, but these thunderstorms east and southeast of St. Louis, they have our attention. We still have that tornado watch in effect, and it's especially along and east of the Mississippi where that potential is higher. These are severe thunderstorm warnings right now, areas just east of St. Louis, including the Metro East, and then going down into Monroe County in Illinois, right around Waterloo right now, we're looking at some larger hail. So these severe thunderstorms, Monroe County, parts of St. Clair County, Madison County, far northwestern portions of Clinton County, and also looking at a severe thunderstorm warning in Bond County. I'm going to zoom in very quickly for you just so you can see these storms that are racing off to the northeast. They do have some rotation. Right now, pouring in and around the Belleville area, likely small hail with that. The storm that's just north of Waterloo, racing northeast bound, probably going to get in towards Smithton here shortly. That's likely producing hail up to the size of quarters. It was earlier. So you can expect that. These storms racing northeast bound now. And again, the potential is there for rotation to continue to develop with any storm, especially east of St. Louis. Now the front is getting closer at this point. Valmeyer in Monroe County just reported 1-inch hail, by the way. The front is making its way now back to our west. So with the front back to the west of us, once that pushes through, that's going to bring an end to the severe weather threat. But again, keep in mind, we're seeing some additional development now, just within the last 15 minutes, over Jersey County, Calhoun County, back into St. Charles County. That's right along the front. Not severe, but you see it extends all the way down towards Rolla. We'll be watching that as we head through the remainder of this evening. So the bottom line, we'll get you back to Wheel here. Bottom line, stay alert, stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. We're on 5+ with continuing coverage. You're watching 5 on your side in the Weather First Storm Alerts. All right, so for those of you watching online, we're continuing our coverage here, and we will, as we work our way through the evening hours, continue to track these same storms that have been such a nuisance. Some reports of up to ping pong ball size hail here down in parts of St. Clair and Monroe counties in Illinois. And as long as these updrafts can keep going, we're going to continue these storms, they'll just keep going and keep producing hail. So that's going to be a problem. Keep in mind, outside of the thunderstorms, we have seen strong winds. Up at Smart Field, well, it looks like Lambert's actually gusted to 54 at some point here in the last hour or so. So, that's a pretty substantial wind gust there. I'm going to look at Smart Field was reporting just a few minutes ago a peak wind around 60 miles per hour. So let's see what they have right now. So St. Charles, Smart Field, that observation, pretty reliable. It looks like they're gusting at the moment to 38, but they have been gusting. Peak winds have been around 60 miles per hour. And that goes back to Columbia. Gary Frank was telling me the observations out of Columbia were with 60 mile per hour winds. Plus, there is a lot of dust blowing up out there from Columbia. So, there's a lot going on here. Oh, yeah, you can see it on the visible satellite pictures really rolling in. That's going to be pretty. Later tonight, don't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow morning with a coating of nasty old dust from Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas. That's going to be over us. So a lot of dinging going on right now. That's your National Weather Service letting us know what's going on. 7/10 of an inch penny-size hail. That's over in the Belleville area, Fairview Heights. Let's take a look at our cameras over there because we can. So right now, severe thunderstorm warning, Bond, Madison, St. Clair, Monroe County. The storm right now, northern portions of Macoupin County, northern Montgomery County, and the Panhandle up there, north of Litchfield, up near Farmersville. That's strengthening. The line right along the front, southeast of Carrollton, down to about Jerseyville, to about Grafton, and back to O'Fallon. That's also showing some signs of intensifying here as we're continuing to monitor this sliding across the area. So that's what we have on the radar screen right now, with the potential that there's some severe weather happening at this moment here over to the east of St. Louis. Let's get over to Belleville and check from the our Art on the Square building and see what's going on. The weather camera there showing the gusty winds, certainly. The clouds still there, but it looks like the heavier rain has let up. No sign of any hail there. We'll move over to the O'Fallon, Illinois area, and we continue to see the rain coming down here, quite a bit of it. Camera bouncing a little bit in the breeze, and those hideous Bradford pears have been shedding their...
Look at the front on the airport, you can see.
Look at the airport, yeah. This is
I
where
just flipped it over for you.
Yeah, this is where our front is. There it is. So here is the back edge of what we're going to see here as far as rain goes. Once this goes through, I think we're going to be okay. But once it goes through, we're still going to have winds that are howling. Look at the picture here from out in Chesterfield, and now here's the shot from Worldwide Technology Raceway. Look at those clouds. They are towering and growing over the metro area. So again, it's still one of those scenarios where there is a lot going on around the metro area right now. The severe thunderstorms are off to the east of St. Louis. We're going to go in tight here. Another one's coming into Belleville. This one between Smithton and Belleville, between Millstadt and Belleville, sliding northeast bound. That's producing hail. You have another cell that's up here, northern Madison County, stretching from just north of downtown O'Fallon and north of Lebanon up towards St. Jacob and Highland. Highland, of course, let their schools out early today to get the kids home to be safe ahead of any potential severe weather. Because honestly, the ingredients for a tornado really do seem to be there today, and the storms just haven't been able to take advantage of those ingredients. Here's this other area. This is going to be right along the cold front here as you're looking out about to Jerseyville, down towards Grafton, out towards O'Fallon. So those are the areas where, sure, this is definitely a pretty impressive scenario that's playing out as these storms literally race rapidly off towards the northeast and just kind of blow up along that front and along that boundary. And then outside of the thunderstorms, we are looking at winds that are gusting around 60 to 65 miles per hour. So there is still enough rotation in the atmosphere. If one of these storms taps into the ingredients that are there in just the right way, there could still be a tornado tonight. The tornado watch still continues here, basically from about St. Louis off to the east. Now, the other thing that we have is a high wind warning that goes from Columbia to Kingdom City up to Bowling Green and then up into the Quincy Hannibal area. So that's a high wind warning for wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. Remember, the St. Louis area, in addition to the tornado watch, also has a wind advisory. And you know, it's possible that's going to get upgraded too as we continue to see across the area the potential of these showers and thunderstorms across the region. Where was that located today?
The Hannibal one.
Oh, in
That was
Hannibal,
the one
yes.
we actually saw.
Yeah, we saw the one tornado up around the Hannibal area, and that did, we believe it did touch down. It looks like there's a picture of it. So up there, ping pong ball size hail over in Swansea, Illinois. That was just from a couple of minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Those are big hailstones for sure. So again, wind, hail, these thunderstorms are going to roll through here, and they are moving very quickly off to the east and to the northeast. So we're going to have to deal with those here for the rest of the evening. As we get a little bit closer, we're looking down to the south. That storm right now that's working over from Bloomsdale to about St. Genevieve, north of Chester. That's not severe, but it's probably producing some small hail. Storms down 44, they're not severe, probably producing just some brief downpours. There's definitely gusty winds all along here. Here comes another cell just down to the south developing. Again, what you're seeing behind these initial supercells that develop by themselves off to the east of St. Louis, what you're seeing behind that right along the cold front. So if I pop the wind flow on here, you'll see how you get that shift of winds. It's almost too much, but you can really kind of just draw that wind shift. Looks like it's somewhere about there. So that's where that front is right now, and I'm going to take the winds off because, boy, that was a lot. But they are really strong. There is no doubt about that. So the cell off to the east here, whoops, if you're in the area in and around St. Jacob, would be concerned that you're getting some larger hail. That also includes the Highland area right now. So this area from Highland up to Interstate 70 and going east towards Pocahontas, watch that storm lifting northeast. It's a hail producer, has a history of producing hail up to the size of ping pongs, one over the Belleville area at this moment as well. So if you're watching us online, and we can show you some of these things, that's what it looks like now looking back to the cell that's developed just over the city of St. Louis right now. Pretty impressive, eh? So you really have some heavier wind coming in and some heavy rain, maybe some hail. This is what it looks like from 100 above the park. And let's just see if we can't turn that a little bit. Again, severe thunderstorm warning. You still have it in effect for Bond, Clinton, Madison, St. Clair County for those hailers that are out there at this point. We're going to turn this camera a little bit and kind of spin it around. It is raining at Forest Park. As we turn the camera, you're seeing it move with me. We're looking more now towards the south. And as we swing it around more towards the southeast and east, you are going to see that heavier rain picking up and possibly some hail in there as well. So far, the winds in the thunderstorms have not been all that bad, to be honest. We really have not had a lot of wind damage reports. We've had a few, but not a lot. Gary Frank's with me. Tracy Henson's been cruising around in the Weather First.
Arguably, I got to think that we're going to have more wind damage and power outages
I think
overnight.
we're going to have more wind damage and power outages from what we end up seeing here going through the overnight hours. So just kind of looking in towards downtown St. Louis, there's the heavy rain that's kind of pushing in right now. Although we can still, the visibility is such that you can still see downtown, so it can't be that heavy, right? Take a look out in Chesterfield. Here comes the front. Really going to be interesting. Oops, yeah, it should take it. It really should be interesting to see what we get as this front goes through. So out in Chesterfield right now, you can see, looking to the southwest, there are some areas where the showers show up and the rain shaft, maybe some small hail shows up. There's your storm moving over North St. Louis County. Let's see, hail to the quarter size, again near Swansea. Over in Greenville, east side of Greenville, in Greenville County, 34-mile-per-hour winds. That's not terrible. Let's take a quick gander over into downtown Belleville, which looks like they just had some heavy rain and maybe another round of potentially a bit of hail, but doesn't really show up on our camera there. So we'll flip it over to the O'Fallon, Illinois camera and see what we have going on there. And yeah, we can see it, but it's not a big deal. Here's a look downtown St. Louis, looking kind of southwest from downtown. You can see the rain coming in over southwest St. Louis County right now. So here's a look at your radar. Again, tracking these storms through the region this evening. The severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect east of St. Louis right now. This includes parts of St. Clair, Madison, Clinton, and as well as Bond County over around the Greenville area. So those are the storms that have a history of large hail. Now these storms out to the west of St. Louis are really associated with the cold front itself. And I gotta believe that we're running out of opportunity here, which is not a problem, but we're running out of opportunity for any significant tornado development in and around our area. So we've seen that today up in Iowa. We've seen some big tornadoes up in Iowa. We've seen some substantial tornadoes and significant damage in the Little Rock area. What we have not seen is a whole lot of damage or tornado reports here locally, despite the fact that all the ingredients say something like that should exist, but we haven't seen it. Belleville right now at Scott Air Force Base reporting hail. So they are getting some hail over there for sure. Let's pop back on my little camera here and see if we see anything over there. I don't think we will, but we'll pop that on for you. Again, you're looking at the clouds there over in O'Fallon, Illinois, kind of sliding on through. So, yeah, it's kind of been a crazy day. Quarters, St. Clair County around O'Fallon reported some ping pong ball size hail a little bit ago. The severe thunderstorm warning is continuing until 7:15, although the storm itself is showing signs of weakening. And we'll certainly keep that going. Want that trend to continue here as the storms move off to the east and northeast of St. Louis. So I really think our opportunity for something to spin and be bad is waning very quickly. These storms do have some rotation, but I mean, let's be honest, when you're looking at it, trying to find anything in here that might indicate something significant, you have a hard time finding anything that's significant in here in terms of rotation anywhere along the area where there's severe thunderstorms right now. There's just nothing really showing up there. Ping pong ball size hail. Rain and hail. I guess 1-inch hail. Quarter size to ping pong ball size hail out of O'Fallon, Illinois. So that storm is beginning to slide off to the east and to the northeast. So we're kind of continuing to monitor the situation here as these storms press on to the east and to the northeast. You've got the one severe thunderstorm warning. We're not looking at big tornadoes. At this juncture, I think we're done with our significant tornado threat, even though all indications are and all the ingredients are apparently available. There just hasn't been the ability of these thunderstorms this afternoon to take advantage of that. And we're at the point now of, we're starting to lose what heat we did have, and it doesn't look like there's just much of a chance for that. I mean, really, most of our indices that we use to forecast severe weather have been kind of off the charts here this afternoon. And you would think that would have, Mother Nature would have responded with some significant things, but more significant than what we've seen, thunderstorms. But I think we're all happy that we're not dealing with what we've seen the last couple of weeks in areas farther to our south. So there's kind of the broader perspective coming in close again, moving around the St. Louis area, east and northeast of St. Louis. Some reports of ping pong ball to golf ball size hail. Those cells came out of Monroe County, working across St. Clair County and now pushing towards Greenville. Then you have other cells in and around the metro area and back to the west through, really all the way from about Rolla to Sullivan to Pacific to Weldon Spring to St. Charles to Grafton, and then all the way northeast up towards Farmersville. And that is more of a line, and that's more of really just a line of strong thunderstorms actually along the front. Jerseyville had some nickel-size hail with these as they continue to slide on through. So, we still have just about an hour for that tornado watch before it gets canceled or perhaps extended. But I would say they're not going to extend that given the lack of intense, for us anyway, that wouldn't be extended. The threat will be over. So these storms are tracking northeast, small little portion of St. Clair County into parts of Madison County and then over into Bond County. That's where we have our severe thunderstorm warning, and the main threat seems to be with hail. Outside of that hail threat and outside and away from thunderstorms, winds are gusting from 30 to 60 miles per hour. And I think we'll continue to see strong gusty winds whip through the St. Louis area through the overnight hours. And the odds are at this point that we'll probably have more problems from the wind overnight and very early tomorrow than we've seen so far today in any area in the 5 on your side area. So your Weather First team still in storm alert, still tracking these thunderstorms across the area. There's a look from downtown St. Louis to the south and west. You can see the hint of sunshine behind some of the rain shafts there. Take you back over to, let's see, well, I'm not sure we're going to take you anywhere. There we go. Take you back over to the area around O'Fallon, Illinois. Still looking at some pretty intense storms there, but they're sliding northeastbound.
You think this is a product of being close to the radar in Chesterfield or something else?
What's that?
Seems like it's a little like QLCSE-ish.
Yeah, it does. It certainly could be, but I don't think, because they haven't said much about this second line at all.
Yeah, it's the first thing that we've seen in that regard.
Yeah. Well, and that was the theory of how this was going to
Right.
evolve from supercells into QLCSs. That's Gary Frank here is with me in the Weather First Weather Center as we continue to track the storms. There's the storm over by St. Jacob heading towards Highland. You got one that just went through Highland. You got another one that probably just goes to the east and southeast of town. You got one that's went through Granite City, and then we stretch back here, and then you see what's happening back across St. Charles, back into the valley now, really starting to see the heavy rain, more of that down 44. That's right along the front there. And all of this is sliding northeast bound very quickly. And it looks like the tops may be coming down just a little bit. I'm going to pop the hail indicator on here. And Gary, I really don't see, and it's not really showing a whole lot of hail at this point. So most interesting there, but definitely the storms are intense. They're strong. We still have the tornado watch. Just kind of give you a broader perspective of how expansive this storm is. So we're still in the 70s in St. Louis. They've dropped back into the 60s now in Kansas City, but up towards Omaha, they're just in the 40s. There's snow back across parts of Nebraska into South Dakota, and blizzard conditions in those areas. Up across eastern portions of Iowa, we've had several tornadoes touch down. We've had tornadoes touch down around Little Rock. It looks like there's one storm that's rather potent right now that's headed towards the Memphis area. And of course, we've had our showers and thunderstorms here, but so far, not a whole lot of severe weather around the St. Louis area. There is the sun getting ready to set there as...
Oh, you're looking at me move the camera?
Yeah, you've got that.
Yeah, so from one side, I was trying to find, because they got to have some weird clouds.
Doesn't look like, you would think it would be more
I can't turn
intense.
it all the way around. You can
Yeah.
see. It's raining hard on the other side of this camera, but I run into the building, so that's why I...
Yeah, it becomes a problem.
But if you look on the other side of it, it's definitely raining hard.
Yeah.
It's just not a quick
I'll
process.
give you this shot looking back, and you can still, it's kind of cool that the sun's getting ready to drop below the lower deck of clouds out there right now. But it's been a very dynamic situation. Non-thunderstorm winds, very intense, 50 to 60 miles per hour. We think most of that's non-thunderstorm winds kind of rushing in. And there'll be another rush later tonight when the actual cold front comes through. This is more of a dry line kind of scenario playing out right now. So we're going to get some changes here. So I still have the severe thunderstorm warning for just a few more minutes over in Bond, Clinton, and Madison counties.
There's got to be some lightning at the airport. Let's take a
Is
look at this. There's got to be, because that's what it tells me. I wouldn't be surprised to see this start flashing somewhere, because it's got to be.
Well, you would think. Here's a look at the radar pictures again, off to the northeast of St. Louis. The storms that have really caused the problems here, and again, they have weakened. We believe they've weakened considerably. You probably did have a little attenuation there through some of the heavy rain in the valley as it was drifting through. And the radar beam had to go through that heavy rain to find those storms over in southeastern portions of Madison County and over into Bond County. But it looks like those storms are weakening somewhat right now. Let's take it from north to south. There is a tornado warning just outside of our area for that storm that earlier moved through northern portions of Montgomery County. Now that's over towards Taylorville, and so there is a tornado warning with that. But the line of thunderstorms that stretches across northern Macoupin County, back down through southeastern Jersey County, back south of Grafton, and just north of Godfrey, and back into St. Charles, right along the Boone Bridge, and then moving down through Chesterfield and Wildwood and heading on down here into Franklin County and northwestern Jefferson County. That is really along the front. So that seems to be where the front is, and that's kind of the last gasp for us on thunderstorms. Now, having said that, this warning is going to be expiring here. The storms have already weakened considerably from where they were. And I think this was our last chance, Gary, for most of us to see any significant severe weather. And there was some significant severe weather with this earlier. We did have up to 1.5 inches hail reported. I'm not sure, golf ball.
62 in St. Charles right now.
Yeah, 62 mile per hour winds or 62 degrees?
Probably both, to be honest with you, but mile per hour wind.
Okay, there you go. What was I looking at? I was looking at a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of pea-size hail being reported, but it looks like they did get ping-pong ball-size hail over in St. Clair County in a couple of places. So that's enough to cause some dings in your car. It's enough to cause a ding on your roof too. But those storms are weakening now, so that warning will be allowed to expire across St. Clair and into Bond County and northwestern Clinton County in Illinois. Now there's still some, it still looks like there's some cloud to ground lightning in there. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. But it's not as much as you would really think. It just doesn't seem like it this evening. There's what you're looking at there around the airport, Gary, coming in. And yeah, there is some cloud to ground lightning there, but
I know, I'm waiting to see it.
It's just not as dramatic as what you would think. And that's usually an indication of the potential for hail. As we look down here, the storm's coming in just to the northwest of Cedar Hill. They have a little more lightning, so as they race northeastward towards southwestern St. Louis County, that lightning, that extra lightning that's in there would indicate maybe there is a little better chance of seeing some hail with that storm as it races northeast. So, but at this point, it looks like the thunderstorms overall are at or below severe levels for the 5 on your side area. Again, a fair amount of lightning in there at the moment, but it certainly does look like these storms have shown a trend, at least east of St. Louis, of weakening. And that was our greatest concern, the areas east of St. Louis, as to what we would be looking at this evening. And so, you know, I think we got off good. If we just get heavy rain and hail and a couple of reports of some trees down or a few power lines down here and there, I think overnight tonight we're going to end up with more power outages than what we've had so far today, just because we're going to have gusty winds that will go for hours, literally hours on end, gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour, a good 6 to 10 hour period of that. And that's enough to strain your power lines. It's enough to strain branches and create some additional problems. So, you know, we got to work through that heading through this evening. Let's take a look up in fluorescent right now. I think we've got that. No, maybe we do. Yeah. Okay, so let me go over there. There's fluorescence, wet streets up by the airport. Looks like the clouds are starting to go away, but still some rain coming down. Don't see any hail on the ground, though, so that's a good thing. Here's a look downtown St. Louis, Gateway Arch, looking eastbound. And again, we've had some rain in St. Louis, kind of on the way out. There's your next shower coming in from the southwest from our downtown Skycam. That's going to push in here over the course of the next hour or so, but these do not seem to be severe storms coming into St. Louis. So here's a look at your radar. The severe thunderstorm warning is expiring for Bond, Clinton, and Madison County. That is the last warning we have had this evening. More likely than not, it's going to be our last warning of the evening, although we'll continue to watch this strong line that stretches from Macoupin County back into Madison County and is coming through St. Louis County right now. So here's a look live into St. Louis County, and we're really picking up some pretty good rain in here. Don't know that there's much hail, but we definitely have some heavy rain in here. I kind of will put the hail scope on there and just explore, and I'm not finding anything that would indicate that it's a problem. But these storms are going to race quickly off to the east, and they'll be out of here. You know, we've said this over and over today. They're not lasting very long at all. The storms are in, they're out, they're moving at about 60 miles per hour. But the problem is these storms are moving so fast because the winds aloft are fast, and some of those winds are mixing down to the ground, not even associated with thunderstorms. And so we're going to see a continuation of those 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts overnight tonight into early tomorrow. The strongest, most likely non-thunderstorm wind will be farther north of St. Louis as we continue through the overnight hours into early on Saturday, and then the winds will start to diminish tomorrow afternoon. Now listen, tomorrow morning when you wake up and you go outside, it's not only going to be windy, it's going to be around 40 degrees. So wind chills with those gusty winds will make it feel like, you know, it's in the 20s. It is not going to be pleasant. It is going to be a less than pleasant Saturday. Despite the fact that after some clouds in the morning, it'll end up getting pretty bright in the afternoon. It'll be a less than pleasant day across the bi-state area. And after a cold and potentially frosty start on Sunday, we should warm up again by Sunday afternoon and get close to 70 degrees during the afternoon hours. So kind of excited about the second half of the weekend, less so about the beginning of the weekend, which for many the beginning is starting now, and you're coming in with these showers and thunderstorms. Here's a look at the scenario with some of the lightning on there. Your cloud to ground lightning count is pretty substantial here around the metro area. Let's see if we can get it to give us a number of lightning strikes in here. just like in North St. Louis County, you've got 25. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Let me go up here. Just kind of get a whole chunk of this, a whole metro area. 61 lightning strikes just in the last 15 minutes or so. So that's pretty substantial. It really is. So these storms are rapidly moving off to the east. We've been watching the area east and southeast of St. Louis because that, in theory, has been the area where you would be more likely to see severe thunderstorms and the potential of tornadoes. But instead, we've had some supercellular hailers, and that's been about it. Now, that storm out towards Greenville, even though the warning is expired, we'll watch it and see if it intensifies any as it heads towards the Vandalia area. And then all of this that's from Alton down through Bridgeton, down through Creve Coeur, down approaching Sunset Hills, and down into Cedar Hill. That line is right along the front. That's the last opportunity of anything to be severe associated with a thunderstorm. And that is more of a linear sort of thing. So you can't imagine that that would have any ability to produce a large tornado, but it certainly could produce a brief spin-up tornado given the right circumstances, and if it can tap into those circumstances. I mean, the conditions really have been favorable today for seeing some unsettled weather that was severe and, you know, downright scary, and we just have not really seen that at all. We did get the 62-mile-per-hour wind gust here in the last few minutes out there at Smart Field in St. Charles, so northern St. Charles County. It's probably our wind goose location because it likes to report stronger winds, usually being out in the open as it is. But, you know, the winds are going to be gusty all night long tonight. We do have that wind advisory in effect since we have no warnings in effect right now, and again, continuing to track that away from St. Louis over the course of the next couple of hours. Let's see what we have with the watch. You do have tornado watch still in effect, but they've trimmed it some out of mid-Missouri. There'll be another trimming here after this next line of thunderstorms goes through. Let's talk about the winds and what we're expecting there. Here are future winds as we go through tonight. Of course, we've already seen some wind gusts, 50 to 60 miles per hour, not associated with thunderstorms. So as the cold air starts coming in overnight, we will see those winds gusting around 50 miles per hour, if not a little above at times, overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. That's probably going to add to the potential power outages and some downed trees and power lines. And then tomorrow afternoon, the winds will slowly subside. So the wind advisory includes most of our area. They have now upgraded that to a high wind warning up towards the Bowling Green area. So Pike County, back towards mid-Missouri and points north, now you have a high wind warning for the potential of 60 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts. Again, that will not be associated with thunderstorms. Quick last little look here at what's going on with the radar. And you see across the region, the cold air is wrapping around, coming through Kansas, coming through Nebraska. They have blizzard conditions in parts of Nebraska and South Dakota. We've had the strong storms here, but even so, not severe weather. It now appears that our chances of severe weather continue to diminish across the St. Louis area. Still a fair amount of cloud-to-ground lightning with this last band that's coming through Metro St. Louis right now, but in the next 30 minutes, it will be in the Metro East, and 2 hours from now, it will be long gone, and we will be left with very windy conditions. Nothing looks severe right now in our area. Not going to anticipate anything other than some brief reports of hail. Anything from here on out is going to be really, really fast here as we go through this evening. One last quick little shot here because we do have some lightning coming into St. Louis if we get it. See how the camera is really bouncing in the breeze here. This is 26 stories high, downtown St. Louis, looking off to the southwest. Flashes of lightning, some downpours about to come in, and this is what we're dealing with here this evening, and probably this is it. After this band goes through, we will be done. So the severe weather threat continues to diminish, and we are going to go ahead and let you go for the evening. If we need to, we'll pop back on here, but I don't think we're going to need to here as we head through this night. So y'all stay safe. We're glad you were prepared today, and we're ready to go in the event that things really did get out of hand this afternoon. Fortunately, they did not. So y'all have a good afternoon and a good evening and a nice weekend.